Ready?
G'day everyone and welcome to Flock, a New Orleans Pelicans podcast, part of the Old Man Squad Sports Network. I am your host, Lyle Swithenbank, at Lyle Swithenbank on X and on the Blue Sky thing as well. I don't know how to read the whole thing out on that, but go and check me out. You can do that as well. Now, I know I've been away for a little while, but we're back and I've rallied the troops from down under. I'm joined by Aussie Brigade, special supporters of the Pelicans as well, down in Australia, all the way across. We've got the full coverage. So we've got Aidan. How you going, mate? How's things?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. It's pretty good. It's hot today, 40 degrees, which is up there for you Americans. It's really hot, sweating, but no, pretty good.
Oh, good. We got Brenton. Where are you? You're down in Adelaide, aren't you, Brenton? South Australia.
I am in Adelaide. Yes, correct. How are you, Lyle?
Yeah, good, mate. Thanks for joining us. And Ads in Victoria. How are you, mate? Good to hear from you.
Good, mate. Just enjoying a Sunday evening.
Oh, I tell you what, where else would you want to be? Where else would you want to be on a Sunday afternoon to talk about the Pelicans? Oh, the 15th ranked Pelicans in the West. It has not been the start to the season that we were hoping. We had the big splash in the off-season, DeJounte Murray coming across, and we thought, we may be away here. There's some good talent. There was always questions. We had the center issues and things like that. And then it was a war of attrition. Who could last the longest, basically, because we are undermanned. Aidan, what are your thoughts so far on the Pelicans season? It's been a tumultuous one.
It's been a downer. Hasn't been great, has it? Hasn't been great. So many expectations, and this is what we're dealt with. It started all right. Like the first game, I don't know, it was all right. It wasn't like first the Bulls. The Bulls have turned out to be a decent team. They're not too bad, and kind of a little bit of hope there. And Murray kind of had that rough first half, but kind of came through in the second half and actually showed us what he can do in a fourth quarter, which is what he's been doing for a while. But it's been rough. It's been really hard to watch the Pelicans this year. But what are you meant to do? Injuries, some of them, could they have been avoided? Probably. Some of them, they're just freak injuries. There's not much to say on that part, is there, on the state of the actual Pelicans at this stage?
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. There was that glimmer of hope when we played against the Bulls. You had DeJounte Murray come in, and I think he shot 4 of 14 or something. It was an awful shooting night for him. But you could see him just read the court, be able to put guys in positions to be successful, which is exactly what we wanted. We had a point guard. It didn't look difficult with the decision making. He knew when to slow it down. There was that possession. Going way back now. Oh, the good old days. Where
just the one game we had.
Yeah, exactly. We could have had it all, but we just had the Bulls for 3.5 quarters. But it really was that instant impact, which I think, Griff would have been sitting there going, this is what I wanted, this is what it was meant to look like. But, then broken hand, 6 to 8 weeks or longer, I think. And, we've it's been a sorry sort of start after that. We've lost, I think we're 4-15 or something, are we? Like, that's awful.
4-13.
4-13. I'm wishing our lives away. 4-13. Yeah, exactly. Lost 4 on the trot. Ads. What can you make from this? Is there anything that you can make from this sort of start beyond obviously just the injuries? Is there any silver linings? Anything you could have seen from this?
Oh, silver linings. It's got to be looking at players like Brandon Boston Jr.
Yeah,
that kid is he can score, and he's not afraid of any moment. I don't think, but yeah, it's a burn the tape start of the season for me.
Mm.
Nothing's gone well injury-wise. We haven't had anywhere close to a healthy team. We've got to take the positives out of what players we found that can fit in a rotation with our superstars that are not playing. Like, I think I sent everyone a message the other day of all the players that we had out. It was our top 11 players out besides Brandon Ingram. So, we've just got to look at like what's going to work best for the team going forward. I wouldn't worry about much of the start of the season. It's the same as always. Start with high expectations, a bit of hope, and some high fives going into the season, and then we're here in every year, 20 games in, we're like, well, fuck, where are we now?
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head with that, right? And Brenton, the thoughts on that? Do you have more to add to the state of the Pelicans?
Oh, look, it's pretty tough, obviously. It's a very bad start to the year. I haven't seen anything quite like it on any NBA team, to be honest. I think I saw in one of our fantasy chats, Lyle, someone posted 90% of our salary on the bench when in the game recently where Brandon and Trey rested. That's insanity. Like, how are you supposed to, win? But as Ad said, bright spots. We've got Brandon Boston Jr. playing well. I think that before Jose got hurt, there was signs of life from him as well. Like, he had a shocking start to the season, and then he was kind of forced into that, primary point guard role, and he seemed to remember who he was, which was nice before he got hurt as well. So it's just been a shocker. One thing that we've got to now worry about is other teams are now like 17, 18 games into their season, and they've been able to figure out things with new squad members, new rosters and things like that, when we get our players back. And I think CJ's back on Monday, but we're going to get these players filtering back in, but we're going to be behind the 8 ball because we have to now start again on integrating DeJounte into the team, working out where everybody fits. Like, before the season started, one of the big questions was, and I think, Lyle, you discussed this with Jake Madison on a pod at one point, was we've got so many players. Like, how does this actually work? Who is going to start? And now we're at the point of, well, who is going to start, but for very different reasons. And it's just a massive slow start to the season, unfortunately. We're going to have to build from here.
Yeah, and I mean, having a look at the standings, 4-13, 2-8 3-6 at home, 1-7 on the road, one of 9, or 1-9 in the last 10. But then I go up the rankings. All right, the Jazz, they're a game ahead. Trailblazers are 1-7, Kings are 1-8, Spurs at 11 have won 9. So if you start getting the troops back, and I think this has been something that you see a lot on Twitter, and, we're all, tank it for Cooper Flag and all of this, and, rest everyone up. Well, I get that if you were in the end of January or February and you could see, well, hang on, we're coming up to the trade deadline. The team's no good. It doesn't fit. Nothing's good here. But you're a month in, like literally not even a month in. I think season started on the 23rd of October. So we are a month in and a day. There's a lot of basketball left to be played. And I can understand, this is outrageous and things like that. But we saw in the training pitches, the players are coming back. You can't really help an adductor. That is unfortunate for CJ. Herb's shoulder was sort of twisted. They were all freak injuries. The only ones, that are the annoying soft tissue ones, Jose's and Zion's, which, when a hamstring's going to go, a hamstring's going to go. And we're going to get to talking about that hamstring injury. Less Jose's, more Zion's, and just the way that sort of came about. But I don't feel like it's doom and gloom. Did you? Any thoughts on? Could we rally from here? Surely. Anyone want to jump on that one?
Yeah, I'll jump. Sorry, Ads. You're right. We're 18 games into the season. That's not even a quarter of the way through. Get some players back and just see what happens. As I said, we will be behind the 8 ball on where everything fits now. But can we make a run? Yeah, hell yeah. That we get that full team back, even if it's minus Zion for quite some time. That's a lot of firepower, man. So anything's possible.
And thoughts, ads? Anything to add?
Oh, it just wouldn't be a Pelican season without, in the first 20 games, we're firing everyone, relocating the team, trading all the players away. Like, we're 17 games into the season. What were we 2 years ago? 2-11?
Yeah, well, that's
and we still made the playoffs.
Yeah,
this is some of the most frustrating basketball you can watch. The game the other day, that even Ingram missed. Good lord.
Yeah. Oh, that was garbage.
Like, we've just got to. It's all injuries at this point.
Yeah,
it's just injuries. Like, we've got to figure out the root cause of that, and then, and whether it's, the strength and conditioning coaches, or if it's training staff, or it's every year though with this. We need to get to the cause of that problem.
Yeah,
with
thoughts, Aidan?
With the comeback of the year, I'm on the other side of things. We've still got we had the most back-to-backs in the whole out of the whole NBA. Probably tied. I don't really know too many other teams back-to-backs, but we still have the most back-to-backs, and we know what our coaching staff and our medical staff do on back-to-backs with our players. Yeah. When we do get Zion back, he's not playing back-to-backs. He's probably not going to be playing back-to-backs for the rest of the year, so that's a downer. Even like CJ, he's probably going to miss a few back-to-backs just because it's CJ. He's a bit older. There's no point putting that pressure on CJ and trying to force that. So that's a bit of a downer for me to think, like, can we make the comeback? Like, we're 9 games under 500. The Kings aren't going to keep losing games. Portland will, yes. The Jazz, yes. They're not going to keep winning games at the end of the year. The Spurs, I don't think they're going to lose. They got Chris Paul, they got Wemby. They're not going to be trying to lose games. Same as the Timberwolves. If we didn't have so many back-to-backs, if we had a couple less, I really do think we probably could have make a push. But I think that'll be in the back of the mind of Griff, and the other guys in the front office, that, like, these guys aren't playing. They're not going to be playing the back-to-backs. And that's a lot of games. I think we have 16 overall, and I think we've played 2 or maybe
2 or 3.
Yeah. So 13 games there. We're going to be behind the 8 ball. And I haven't looked at the schedule to see who those back-to-backs are, but if it's Adam Silver's NBA, he doesn't want us to succeed. It's going to be against teams that are like Lakers off a 4-day rest, Golden State off a 5-day rest. I know that's just putting it out. It's not going to happen, but it's usually the case with us for some reason.
We haven't even factored in, planes not leaving until 4 o'clock in the morning to get you to the next game.
Exactly.
Things like that happened to the Pelicans, just repeatedly.
That happened a lot last year. That was ridiculous, hey?
Three games in 4 nights. All of the planes left, like, in the morning and flew in day of the game, one of them. Like,
they're pretty much going from the plane to the court. Like, that's just fucked. That's just
there's not a bit of word for it. It's completely fucked. And it is. That's, and you hear about it, and it's just insane. I know the Pelicans released a video of the equipment guys, how they set up on the day of game. And when they fly in, it was on the YouTube there. And these guys, like, get in at 1 a.m. or whatever, go straight to the arena, like, out of there by 4 a.m. Imagine what it was like. You've been up all night. Now I've got to go to the arena, set everything up. And I've slept nothing. And now we're going to do it again for a back-to-back. It's just beyond the players. It's all of the staff. You can imagine what the vibes were in the team in some of those situations. But I can definitely see where you're coming from in terms of, I suppose, the strength of schedule and the workload. I mean, what we've been having, like, these 3 games in 4 nights, like 5 games in 7. It's been insane so far, and you can see why the soft tissue injuries pick up if you're not onto looking after your body and making sure that you're doing everything correctly all of the time. And even then, you play 38 minutes a night and take a battering. Well, gosh, you can see why people are getting injured. It's been an absolute slog. But one guy, I mean, we'll turn to the roster a little bit because, the schedule is what it is, unfortunately, and we're just going to get hammered regardless. A guy that has been a bit of a bright spark amongst all of the sadness has been Yves Misi. I think he's been a real bright spark in terms of pick 21. We thought he was going to be in the G League, and now he's our starting centre. Aidan, any thoughts on Yves and what you're seeing from him?
Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's got a really good head on his shoulders as for a young guy, and for someone who is so late into the basketball career. He's obviously learning on the fly, but just some of his just basic pick and roll action where he knows he's not getting the pass, but man, he is rolling to the basket as hard as anybody, just doesn't care, man. He's going to break a backboard one day, but just slapping it. Like, he doesn't care. He's just blocking every shot, which can obviously be bad for a team. You don't want your big guy trying to block every shot. You do want him there to try and get the rebound. So I think he does have to try, and he will learn, and he will pick his spots better in what shots he is going to block. But it's good to see that he's actually attempting those and not just giving up on the play, which is what we've kind of seen. No dig to JV. We all love JV. I think JV did no wrong. I think the team did wrong to him, but I do think he gave up there kind of last year because he was just like, well, fuck this shit. He was getting treated pretty shit by the rest of the players by on-court stuff. So it's just refreshing to see a young guy coming out and just being like, yeah, I'm going to block your shit. I'm going to run hard. I'm going to take all these guys and just try my best against the best, up against guys like AD and so on. Like, he's going to try his hardest, and it's good. It's refreshing. It's good to see.
Yeah, and seeing these young, he's a completely different athlete to what JV was ever going to be, right? And I think seeing that, the ability, the raw athleticism of being able to block some of the stuff, and he's always an emphatic block. It's not like, I'll just jump up and put a hand up on it. No, I'm sending it into the third row, or I'm snatching it, or I'm going off the backboard. But again, like you said, he's still young and raw and learning. Positioning, sometimes he jeopardizes the defense by jumping at everything, and all of a sudden he's crashed down over the top of the primary defender, and we're in a bit of strife. But Brenton, what do you think of Yves? Does he fit the system? Do you think he's a long-term piece?
Way ahead of where I thought he was. To have him starting over Daniel Tice, Daniel Tice isn't the world's most electric center or anything, but I have watched, a lot of basketball over the last number of years, and Daniel Tice is no slouch. Like, he's a good defender. He's not the biggest center in the world, and I just thought, okay, we've got him in for a reason here. We're just going to be playing a kind of smaller ball center lineup here, and to have, from what I saw in Summer League of Yves Misi, I thought, like, talent up the wazoo, but really raw. Like, it's going to be a long time before this guy gets serious minutes. So to see this transformation almost from game one, right, where I think, Lyle, you said in the chat, in our little Pelicans Aussie chat, like, DeJounte turning Yves Misi into prime Dwight Howard here, because of the pick and roll, and it's a fantastic thing to see. A young bloke just get on the court, not really be scared, taking his opportunity and taking a starting spot in an NBA roster, not many games in, and he's not scared. Like the other day when we played the Cavs, I saw him put the ball on the floor and dribble at Jarrett Allen. That was a real eye opener, because as Aidan said, it's been a lot of pick and roll, and he doesn't get anything on the roll. But when he got that ball in that kind of deep in the key, or not that deep in the key, near the top of the key, and took the dribble at Jarrett Allen, I was like, yeah, boy, let's go. Like, if you've got that confidence, let's see it.
Yeah, and one thing I think is underrated with him is his passing. Like there's been some where he gets sort of back to the basket. He's been fed this ball, can't do anything with it, and he feeds it out to the corner. He hits the shooter in pretty good stead. A lot more than I was expecting for a guy that apparently only started watching NBA during the bubble, right? So he hasn't seen much of the professional game, and he's still 12, 13 games into his career. But Ads, any thoughts on Eve?
I love him. Like, we never expected him to even be playing anywhere close to these minutes because we went out and got Tice and, like, fitting in the system. He was probably projected to look at, like, probably 10 minutes a game starting off with, and now he's our starting center. Like, you can see that his body isn't there to bang with the big, heavier dudes like a Steven Adams or anything like that. And they're going to stretch the floor, like stretch him away from the basket every time they can with the switch. But like, it's the hardest position in the NBA. I think his pass grade is an A right now. Like the expectations versus what's being expected of him now and the delivery on that expectation is that's just not anywhere where we thought he would be at the moment. So I can't speak higher of him.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. The expectation versus the reality. We were like, oh, he's probably spent a bit of time in Birmingham. We can see he's a great athlete, but is there any game sense there? And then he had that awful game in summer league where he had about 15 fouls in 5 minutes, and
then he fall over like 25 times as well.
On the ground, falling out of the air, and it looked like Bambi on ice. He was just trying to work it all out, but then just every game just puts it together. He learns something new, and he doesn't often make the same mistake twice, which is pretty rare, I'd say, for a young guy coming through that is starting in the NBA and has been probably one of our more consistent guys. Well, probably more recently as we lose more and more players. Another bright spark that I think we have to touch on, and no, it's not JRE, despite popular opinion. Although he did play well the other game.
Come on, man. This kid's out there busting his hump every single night. He's not the most talented player on any squad across the NBA, but I'll give him props for fucking trying. He is out there hustling it. That's all I'll say.
I think I got to say, he's not like copy, like agree exactly with that. And he's not replacing Najee and Larry Nance, but he's doing a damn good job of doing 3/4 of what those two guys do. He's not replacing two players, but he's trying his damn hardest to be what Najee was and what Larry was. And I think that's all you can ask for someone on the money that he's on and the position that he is in. No, he's not our best player, but you just got to give him some sort of shout out there to be like, I'm taking notice. Like he's doing okay. He's doing okay from where he was like last year. Like it was almost like shit. This guy's unplayable completely. The guy's got the best looking jump shot I've ever seen anyone ever have. It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah, it's true.
And then this year he's just hustling. And he's making the plays to get the minutes.
Maybe just don't give him the ball to inbound in the final play of any game ever again.
Well, I mean, who can you give it to on this team? I don't know. Not many that can get an inbound in it.
I can't blame him for that. That's not him. He didn't go on the play. He was probably fucking just as confused as everyone else on the court at that time.
But I mean, I can give props to JRE from that perspective in that he plays above the talent that he has, right? And he plays hard, and he is undersized, and he's been put in a position that I don't think he ever expected to be in playing so many minutes and having to contribute as hard as he had. And I mean, he almost bailed us out the other night against the Warriors. So, credit to him for that. The one knock on JRE that I have is that he will do things that are just excellent. He'll do 4 in a row and then something catastrophic. And it's just that
rebound.
Yeah, it's just like every time, and that's the only that's the knock on him. It happens to the best of us on the basketball court. It's an awful situation at times, but gosh, that frustrates me. But at least he's out there. At least he's playing. So, you can't really whinge too much. At least he's there. But yes, now that we've unpacked JRE, the true find, I guess, has been Brandon Boston Jr., I'd say. I think he's been fantastic. Off the scrap heap of the NBA on a two-way to, being an almost, key part of keeping us alive in any of these games. Ads, any thoughts on Brenton?
Well, as you said, he was on the discard pile of the NBA. And then, what's he, our second leading scorer now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's just been put into a position. I mean, he's had some bad games. I think there was a 4 of
that's right.
shooting night. But, I mean, he's not afraid of the shot. He doesn't take the most conventional NBA shots. He's got a lovely pull-up mid-range game.
Yeah.
The coach can't fall in love with that sort of shot making. But he's been once again put into a position where he was expected to probably play in the G League this year, and now he's starting shooting guard.
Yeah, exactly. And Brenton on Brandon Boston Jr., he's also had to sort of take on a whole heap of different roles as well. Like, what was he, point guard for a couple of games? Like, does it show this versatility that he could carve out a role for him down the line?
Yeah, well, what does AD say on the during game day? All the time is crisis presents opportunity kind of stuff, and he's obviously exceeded. Probably surprised a whole lot of Pelicans fans, and maybe even the coaching, or maybe not the coaching staff. Maybe they just knew. But you guys. All three of you guys know I'm a heavy fantasy player, and being that kind of basketball watcher as well as loving the Pelicans, you kind of have to know a bit about a lot of teams or all the teams. And I was kind of pretty impressed with him when he was on the Clippers. He never had that role really. Just thought he was a good scorer, smart basketballer, and now he has this opportunity, and it's great to see him blow up. Love it.
Yeah, and Aidan, I mean, we talk about that in a wider sense as well. None of these players are bad, right? They're all better than 99% of the basketball players in the world, bar a couple in Europe and a couple, in other professional leagues. But all of these guys can play. So is it a situation that should a contract present itself? I think we have a spare roster spot. Maybe we don't now, but do you think he has an opportunity to get a proper guaranteed contract, which we've sort of seen in the last years with the Pelicans?
I kind of hope so. It'd probably be the smart move. At the moment, I think he's probably, if the team's healthy, tomorrow he's playing over Jose. Like he's got that spot off the bench. So if they can afford it, well, they can't afford it because we're already over the tax. So they don't want to do anything more there. But the smart basketball decision or operation decision would be to give him some sort of contract. I'm not a contract expert, but they have to give him something to at least to see what he can do coming off the bench. He's a shot maker. He's probably not the best like point guard. Like he's not really getting everybody involved, but he's a tough shot maker. He's young, he's big, he's big, a big guard, like that's something that we're probably missing. He has wanted to rebound, which is something that our team hates fucking doing when JV's not on the court and he's not here anymore. But I don't know. Yeah, I'd give him something. I'd be trying to squeeze him in somewhere, whether that's a trading of some other pieces or what. But I don't know how that contract stuff's going to play out.
And I think it's interesting with the Pelicans because maybe they become a more attractive place for these guys that are sort of fringe NBA players with the two ways and things like that because of our, propensity previously to give these two-way guys a full-time job, right? Like JRE, what we have, Najee, Jose, who else come off there? I think it's Matt Ryan previously. These guys were getting actual deals beyond the two-way, which surely means that these fringe guys that probably end up in Europe or in NBL or somewhere like that are going, well, maybe they'll give me some actual work if I can get the opportunity. And I guess it presents itself when, 150 or $60 million worth of salary is sitting on the bench. You're going to get plenty of run. But I rate him. I think he's been great. He's almost like a Brandon Ingram light in that mid-range sort of killer instinct. He's got the passing ability that is excellent. Some decisions are tough, but you just learn that with reps, right? It's always going to be when you don't have the talent on the court, it's hard to make everyone look good, particularly when you're not a naturally, a point guard isn't your natural position. So I've been nothing but impressed by him, and he was a real good get. I think everyone's pretty happy to have him. Now, before we get to the Big Z, we'll go to the other Brandon Ingram. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And so far, the only guy that's sort of been healthy and available. Still chatter about, do we trade him now? And I think that probably comes down to whether or not, a good return presents itself. Brenton, what do you think on the state of BI? Do we just roll with him? Does he get a max contract? Like, what do we do with Brandon Ingram?
Oh boy. Yeah, this is such a tough one, right? Because you have to kind of admit that we've tried the BI Zion thing for a number of years now. However, they, don't seem to be healthy at the same time all the time. So it's kind of hard to gauge how well that works. I would say it probably doesn't. They're not really akin to each other in their game styles. So, the big question for the last number of seasons is who goes, kind of thing. And it's just amazing now that, the guy who has been injured maybe behind Zion more than anybody on this roster in the last few seasons is the one holding up the putting the finger in the dike and keeping the water back. It's just crazy. It's a wild situation that Brandon Ingram is the guy who hasn't been injured and is carrying our team on his shoulders. So it's probably good in trade value. Like he is, what's he averaging? 26 points a game or something at the moment, which is certainly not what I expected to see. I expected to see reduced minutes this year, potentially coming off the bench. Ooh, controversial. It was just hard to gauge where he was going to land, and and then now he's kind of putting some haters in their place a bit. I reckon you see it on socials all the time. If anyone on the Pels is going to get smacked, it's BI, and right now that dude is doing a monstrous job. So that was a very long way to say I have no fucking idea, Lyle.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I mean, ads seem to have some thoughts on the at least coming off the bench proposition. Ads, any thoughts on BI?
Well, I think Brenton when he said that, he proved he had no fucking idea what he was talking about.
Holy shit, man! This is.
Well, I'm sorry, but BI coming off the bench.
No, that was a not a large possibility, but it could have been a possibility with the roster strength we had. Yeah, thank you, Lyle. So
I do. Okay, I apologize, but that was one of the craziest things I've heard.
Really? No, I did wonder about it because of the strength of guys that we did have. Assuming we had a healthy roster, we could have easily gone DeJounte, Herb, Zion, whoever the center was going to be, and Trey. So why not Brandon off the bench?
Well, yeah, I mean, from that perspective, I mean, remember we had that conversation, there was 7 or 8 guys that could all start, and it was like, well, are we going without a center? Trey was about to get the massive contract. Now he's got it. Is Trey going to take the next step? And I think that's still a question mark, but, it was interesting at the time. I mean, I don't know if Brandon Ingram was ever going to come off the bench. I think just politically they weren't going to do it, but and it would tank his trade value. But it was definitely, I think, discussed. I know a lot of people were talking about it, especially on the internet, about where he was going to end up and whether or not the Pelicans lean into this new starting five without him. I mean, I don't think now there's any chance in hell that he's ever going to come off the bench. But I think that's just because we've got no players. But it is part of that. Aidan, any thoughts on Brandon?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can see I've got a signed jersey, Ingram jersey there. That's all cards in front of him. I'm an Ingram fan, but I'm just over that. I just think let's just clean the books. Let's send him on his merry way. It's not anything, thank you for your service. He's been good. He's given us some good moments, he has given us good moments, but I personally want the Anthony Davis era because he is still – there's something looming over this team from this trade with Anthony Davis. There's some voodoo, and I think if we just clear everything, get the last piece of Anthony Davis out of here, which is Ingram, I believe there's probably a couple of draft picks, but let's get them. Let's get rid of them too. Fuck it. Let's go. We got to get this voodoo out of here. I don't know what it is, but I'm putting it down to this. I'm putting it down to Anthony Davis. Fucking got some person in here to just put some fucking spell on the facility. And yeah, I want both of them gone. I want him and Zion gone. I want to start fresh. The books are fucked. We don't have any space. The team doesn't want to spend money. They don't want to go over the tax. You have your young core in Trey, Herb, DeJounte Murray. Send CJ to a contender. Brenton Boston, he's coming up. Missy, you know what I mean? Just let's get him out. Let's get some stuff back for him, and just see where you go from there. I mean, I don't know.
Flag. Yeah.
It's just hard. It's just hard to know.
What are we talking about? We've just gone by like our season started to shit, and now we're trading Zion and Brandon Ingram away.
This is where we've got to.
6 years. Year 6, I think it is, isn't it? Of this.
Yeah, it is.
BI has been BI is now getting into whipping boy territory.
He's always been in whipping boy territory.
Yeah.
Always has been.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not
Jack
putting it on him to say that. I'm not blaming Ingram. I don't think, I think the Stan Van Gundy fire was probably on Ingram and a couple others that aren't here anymore, but I don't think it's his fault now. I think
that he was a shit coach.
What was that?
Could have just been that Van Gundy was a shit coach and not ready for this, like not the right coach for that roster at the time.
Yeah, could very well have been. I mean, they paid him through the teeth thinking that they needed a taskmaster, and Zion played the most games he ever played. Brandon Ingram didn't, but that's it's an interesting conundrum. The tear down, and I've thought about it. Sometimes I sit staring out the window pensively, contemplating what the team could do, and
rain trickling down the window pane.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, single tear rolls down. All very poetic, just like this season. It's and I think if we were to get rid of both of them, we do a tear down. I just think their value's up to shit. I just don't think you're going to be able to get anything that remotely resembles how much impact they'd have on another team, which I think is what Griffith's thinking as well. The issue is that Brandon is a free agent.
No one's paying Brandon Ingram like in a trade. No one's paying out the nose for him in a trade.
We saw that in the preseason, right, where it was heavily thought that we were trying to move him on and nobody wanted to pay whatever we were expecting. Maybe this, start of the season has jumped that a little bit, though.
Mm. Yeah, and I mean, surely his value's up a bit in that, he's been showing that he'll shoot threes. I think that's been the biggest knock on him is that he just wouldn't take them. And,
woohoo!
Now he's doing it. And he actually hits them, and you're like, oh, well, you're actually held good at that the whole time. So, like, why don't you just do that? But again, we do what's comfortable, and I suppose you take that long 2 instead of the 3 because that's what feels better. But God, it was frustrating watching that. But good to see it. I mean, changing pace. Well, actually, not. We're going to talk about the other half. The other half of this saga. It's a bloody Pelicans civil war, right? With the Iron Man on one side and Captain America on the other, but both of them are injured. We're going to talk about Zion, and we get tired talking about him, but I don't know, he gets clicks, so might as well. Zion's injured. He's done a hamstring again. Apparently not as bad, but then Sham's report today said that Pelicans are gearing up to have him without him for the foreseeable future, which is a little bit difficult. Additionally, he parted ways with CAA, his management, and he released a tattoo video. So that's all happened in the last few days. And gosh, I'd hate to be his PR people. Ads, any thoughts on Zion, the entire predicament? What are we doing with him? What are your thoughts? Just unload, feel free.
Well, I'll start this. There's many layers to this one, like his food. It's layered. But what was he thinking with that video?
Yeah.
Just like people are already doing the comparisons of like Zion and LeBron, both topless. Like he's got tits. Zion's fat.
Yeah, and we can't date when this was though. So, regardless, it wasn't ideal.
Hopefully, it was 4 years ago.
Yeah,
this is Anthony Davis all over again for us. Got a player who clearly doesn't seem to want to be in the city, despite what he says. Then all the injuries, we know that we're coming to the end of his contract in a couple of years. Like, he's the one that I'm trading over Brenton. Just the return's better. And, like, he'll definitely go to another team. And this is just if we have to trade him. He'll go to another team. He'll never be injured again. That's just how the Pelicans go.
It's inevitable.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he's still one of the best players in the NBA when healthy. So it's one of those things that do you cash out now and like not lose anything on the bet? Like we're going to lose on the bet, but we'll get some return for it, like 75 cents on the dollar, or do we just stick through it and pay him through the nose until he decides he doesn't want to be here anymore?
Yeah, it's an interesting conundrum. I'm with you on that because he's into this new deal. And people go on about, it's not guaranteed this, it's not guaranteed that. You only don't pay him if he gets waived. And we're never going to waive him. That's just the reality. You're never going to waive him, bar catastrophic injury and us just not doing right by him whatsoever. That has always troubled me when people are like, oh, he's got to do this, and he's got to do that. And, he gets kickers. He gets percentage kickers on his salary. But, with the weight stuff. But he's getting money. He's getting a whole heap of money, regardless. And if we were to cash out on him, I mean, I don't know if now's the time. I think you'd want to sort of, like show him off a little bit. But like BI at the moment, you're sort of like, oh, get out there and show him what you can do. I don't think trading him for an injury one would be in the best interest of the team. But again, he's so uber talented. And when he plays, this team is awesome. Like, for the most part, this team is really, really good when he plays. And one player can make the entire difference. So I'm in two minds as well. Aidan, any thoughts on this one? What do we do with Zion?
I think I'd personally trade him, like I said before.
Yeah.
And I think this year is the time to do it. You're going to cop the least amount of backlash from the media because I do believe the national media is turning on Zion. It was different before. I do think that it was the national media was putting it on the team for why he was not coming in shape and overweight and always hurting himself. But I do believe that the team have made a few adjustments now with the medical staff and whatnot. And I think it's changing a little bit in that sense. So you're not going to cop so much backlash if you do trade him. It's not going to be, they fucked it up here, they should never have picked him, they should have went someone else, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be, well, Zion made the team. Like he was the one not doing his part to show up healthy for the team. So I think this year is the time. It's obviously going to be hard to trade someone when they're not playing. They need to be back playing, but you don't really, because is it going to just happen again? Is he going to come back at the end, mid-season, have an absolute All NBA end of year, similar to what he did last year after the in-season tournament, after he got embarrassed there? Like, is he going to do that again? And then we trade him then, and then people are like, oh, but he was just All NBA, like he was just putting up All NBA numbers, and one more year, like, I don't know. You just got to cut the ties, because it's like he's bipolar in a way of, that might be the best word, but it's like he's angry that he has to come back to work. He just doesn't want to come back to work. But then it's the new year comes around and Christmas hits, and he starts the new year, and it's like, oh, all right, I'm ready for work now. I'm actually gonna try it now. It's like he's struggling to get out of that off-season mode at the right time. So I don't know. I just think we need to just cut the ties and just get rid of it. Just start fresh. And he's clearly not happy. He's clearly not happy. If he was happy, he'd be in shape. He wouldn't be fucking releasing a video that has man titties in it. Like, why did you release it? Why the fuck did you release it now? You're out. You're hurt. Just that should not have been released. That should not have been released then. And I don't know. It's just one after another.
And on that video, because it was done by the tattoo artist, surely it's coming. You know that the film crew's been there. You've been recorded. You know this thing exists, right? Surely you've got your management or your PR or whoever just saying, now's not the time, mate. Like just, this is not the time, and this is not the edit that you need while you're injured. This is not the PR that you want, right? You're already getting hammered in national media because Perk called him pajamas because he's, because AD was street clothes, so you're sitting there going, you make a rod for your own back. The new medical staff spent like months with him in the off season. The Pelicans have never been as close to him as possible. Like, they have been as close as they could have been. They did everything for this prevention to make him come in at the best shape. You do a hamstring. As someone who has done many, many hamstrings, and it's because I was never fit enough. And I can tell you that for free. If I was fitter, I wouldn't have done a hamstring.
The thing with Zion at the moment, no one's been closer to him because he's got a literal orbit at this point.
Oh, easy.
Come on, I had to throw it in.
But Brenton, what are your thoughts? I mean, you watch the league, more widely, and like you said, you're across a lot of the teams. This predicament happens elsewhere, surely, right?
Does it? First of all, just very quickly on that video, did the media, team around him and just his mates, like, did anyone not also have that moment that the four of us probably had, where he turned around and you saw the tummy and you saw the man boobs and went, holy shit? Did anyone not step in and go, maybe this shouldn't go out?
It's not the one.
Like that. That's just a side issue, though. Just everything that has been said is I agree with. He's obviously not done the right thing by his body, and therefore by his team, and therefore by fucking us over the years. But I just want to highlight. I guess someone has to bring it up, and that's a concern that I have, and I know that a couple of you guys have, in the way that things have been managed. And I want to highlight Jose's injury, and I want to highlight Zion's injury, right? Yeah. So everyone on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it was all up in arms because Zion stayed home for a game and didn't show up, and all the conspiracy theories ran wild. That's fine. So instead, we bring him back quickly. It's a hamstring. We know that it was something, lower body, and that's not good with Zion. But we bring him back quickly anyway. And then in the game he comes back in, everybody saw the walk, right? Everybody saw him deliberately foul somebody to get himself off the court, and that trudge, that Zion slow trudge, head down, disappointed, back to the locker room. And we all went, oh no. Right? They sit him out in the second quarter because obviously something is wrong. What do they do then? They bring him back in the third. I was screaming at my television. I don't know about you guys, but like,
Yeah.
what the hell is this guy doing back in this game? He does the hamstring in sometime in that game, 6 to 8 weeks, maybe longer. Same thing with Jose. Grabbed at the back of his hamstring at the very final moments of a first quarter. Barely play. I don't think he played any time in the second. They bring him back halfway through the third, and I was in the chat. You guys saw me. Like, what the hell are these guys thinking? And there we go, hamstring, 6 weeks. I'm just going to put that stuff out there.
No, I think you're spot on as well. You know, the management of that was bizarre. I think I tweeted at the time. It was like, I've never seen someone move like that with a hamstring. Like, was it simply or you're still warm? You know, when it's cold, you're not going to be any good. So make sure if you're going to do it properly. But you know, I think with us, you know, we get to watch a bit of footy, which hamstrings are a lot feel a lot more common in, you know, footy than they are in basketball. I think Christian Clark talked about it on his show. The stats was only like 81 hamstring injuries over the past, you know, 10 seasons or something ridiculous, which for me feels like bizarre for the amount of running that they do. But, you know, that's probably not the exact stat, but it was 81 over an extended period of time. For me, it's like, well,
you could make up any number, though. Sorry,
yeah,
you could make up any number. There have been 140 hamstring injuries in 3 years for the Pelicans, and I go, yeah, it's about right.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, so we just throw it out there because that's the magic of television. But you know, with that, surely these medical staff and physios and things like that, these guys are the best of the best, right? There's only 30, 40 jobs to do this in the whole NBA. So surely you're the best of the best and you've managed a hamstring injury before, because I've never seen that in any other sport where you were sent back out other than a grand final or, you know, semi-final or something like that, where it was like, you have to play. I just thought it was bizarre for both of them. I thought it was ridiculous.
Especially hamstrings game in November.
Yeah.
100% ads, 100%. Like, just don't risk it. Why would you? And they paid for it twice.
Yeah. And now we're looking at December return dates, probably January by the time they have the proper ramp up. And, you know, you're not going to be at full strength until, gosh, you know, start of Jan, which is so frustrating.
But they could have got 4 or 6 extra points out of Jose and Zion, that, you know, in those games. So that would have been
still lost.
well fucking worth it. Anyway.
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was bizarre. But you know, it's something like for me, I love Zion, right? I love him as a player. I think he is awesome. I think when he plays, he is just electric. And you know, having seen him live, and you know, you've seen the shoes I've got on the wall. There's way too much of an investment in a guy that I've got more shoes than games he's played. But you know, I think it's so tricky because you don't want your favorite player to get traded, right? But at the same time, you've got to do what's best for your team. So it is bloody tricky as to what we go from here. But I just hope he has the fastest hamstring he's ever gone through, and he can get back, especially before December when I'm over there. But I think it might be wishful thinking.
Doesn't sound like it.
No. So I suppose change of pace on this. Where to from here? So we're at, you know, what are we? 24th of November. You know, we're 17 games in. Quick maths is, I don't know, something like 70 odd games left, less than that, 65 games. What do we do here? Are we just waiting for the troops to come back, or are we tearing it down? We're bringing it up, or if you could look into a crystal ball, that's what we'll do. What is your prediction? That's where we'll go with this. What is your prediction for the season, Aidan?
Well, he's already traded the whole team.
Well, yeah, that's his dream. I don't know if it's his prediction.
We're getting rid of everyone. Ed Griffin, Gale, fucking get rid of them all. Come on, let's do it.
Man's going to turn the light off and just sit quietly after this.
Yeah, let's get rid of the fucking coat hangers in the locker room, mate. I want everything out. I can revamp everything. Well, we're like, looks like CJ's back next game. Simply, I think DeJounte's made some sort of hints maybe that he could be back next game. So they'll do a ramp-up period of 2 minutes each quarter like they fucking do, and these guys they only just get warm on the court, then they'll take them off, and they'll probably fucking do a hamstring that way. But so we'll do that. So they'll come back, and they'll bring all the guys back. They're not going to make any moves before the trade deadline, which is in February.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah, I think so. First week of Feb.
Yeah. So they're not going to do any trades until then. They will go through the rest of this year and into the January, which is, I think January is our hardest schedule too, which is every
17 games.
season. Yeah, 17 games. Will probably fucking all back-to-backs. But they won't make any moves till then. I want to trade them, but Griff's not going to trade no one. They're not trading no one. It's just they're going to fucking try and kumbaya, hold hands, and what's the signs? Fucking compassion, fucking
mindfulness,
mindfulness. They're gonna try and do something. Yeah, we'll take them on a work trip down to fucking one of the local theme parks and get them all to fucking ride a roller coaster and hold hands together and see if they can fucking fix this shit. But no, it's going to do that. It'll probably be
monetized on YouTube, Lyle.
Yeah, this one. I think. Yeah, I don't know if this one will be.
Playing. They'll be a playing team, and we'll probably lose to fucking Wemby or some shit like that. I don't know. It's so hard to know. It's really so hard to know, isn't it? It really is.
It is, right? And, it could go a number of ways. I mean, my opinion is that it status quo. We just get everyone back. We go on this, miraculous run. In my dreams, everyone falls back in love with the team, and we have a repeat of 2021, where we started badly. Was that 22? Whichever one was the
21.
Yeah. Which, was the best time to be a Pelicans fan after that, 1-14 start. I thought we were, or 3-14 or whatever it was. That was the time. But I would love to say that again. I think we have the talent to be able to make a run. But again, like you said, January is going to be an absolute fucking nightmare. We got 17 games, and you've got to go something like 30-20 the rest of the way in the season, or 37-25 or something to even get close to making the play-in. So I don't know. Ads, what's your prediction on this season?
The prediction on the rest of the season is there will be no trades of top-level stars. We might make some moves around to, maybe get some more defense, which is going to be a lacking issue for us, but it's the same shit every year. We start the season, we have injuries, we start well behind the 8 ball, and then we think that making the play-in tournament's a success.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're the play-in Pelicans, right? We're good at that.
Yeah.
I think we're the most. We've been in every play-in, haven't we? I think that's been.
No, didn't we? Oh no, the Phoenix one. Did we go straight in, or did we get through in the play-in?
Play-in.
Yeah, play-in. That was the you got to fight.
Yeah, you got to fight Pelicans. Oh, one of the guys.
Yeah, we beat the Clippers. Yeah. Anyway, but that's where we are. The West is a fucking juggernaut.
Yeah.
Every team has a legit MVP candidate in the top 5, I reckon. We don't have that play. I mean, we do, but they're always injured.
Yeah.
And I've seen so many arguments online that it's not the training staff, it's not the medical staff's fault for all this. Whose fault is it then?
Yeah.
We cannot consistently be the most injured team in the NBA year after year after year. It causes our slow starts to just be terrible. And as Lyle said, there's 50, 60 jobs in the NBA? Are we just hiring the worst out of the best?
Yeah.
Phoenix got 5 years out of Grant Hill. We can't get 5 years out of Zion Williamson.
But that's who we went and got. That was the guy that got all those years out of Grant Hill and out of Steve Nash and all those guys. That's who we hired, and then he cooked us when he got here. He forgot what he was doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of shit. Well, kind of like.
But then we sacked him. Then we got someone else. That's the difficulty, is that we sacked them all last year, got this new one in, had a pretty good, healthy year for the most part. Besides BI's awful bloody knee extension. That was awful. And then a hamstring at the end. But, you know, I just don't know if they know what to do with Zion. I mean, some of the injuries are freak injuries, right? But the soft tissue stuff, like, what are we doing? And then this ramp up with Trey. This is one thing I'm actually going to have a whinge about these bloody training staff. Trey played 38 minutes last night, but he can't play on a back-to-back. So I don't understand how he can play the most minutes on a team, unless from now on he's playing in every game. But that, for me, is bizarre. You can't be half injured, right? You're either fully injured or you're not. And or you're ramping up. But I don't know. I don't understand the mentality there. So you got to let these guys rip at some point. But
that's not just the Pelicans thing. Sorry to interrupt there. That is, like, as I mentioned, follow closely across the league. It's not just a Pelicans thing. Like those weird back-to-back moves and minutes up and down, and, you know, coaches saying, oh, he'll be on a minutes restriction, and then they play 37. That's not just restricted to the Pelicans. It's pretty widespread.
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't know. Maybe
yeah,
they know
really
more than I
weird.
do.
Really weird, but not just local to us.
Yeah, right. It's it just feels like complete inconsistency on the body, but maybe it's the recovery side of things instead of the the actual minutes that they put into it. But who knows? But Brenton, your thoughts on the season that remains?
I don't know. Look, I mean, play-in feels kind of right. It also feels a little reachy from where we're starting, but, you know, we're bringing in some serious talent. There's no doubt about it. We need her back. That is going to be a big teller for us. I don't think it's going to be a very successful season. If we get there, will I be jumping up and down and throwing milkshakes at the screen and, you know, celebrating like a loon? Absolutely. But I just don't think it's happening after this start.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. We've dug ourselves a hole, and particularly what's annoying about it is that we played all the shit teams in the beginning and we lost all them. So that was like, and even the Warriors gave us like a go. They were like, "Oh, you got no Steph, you know, you
Portland,
beat us. You know, Portland, you dropped how many? We lost 2 to them, haven't we?
Lost 2 to them.
Yeah, you know, you're leaving these wins on the board. I mean, I'm looking at the ladder now. You know, I don't see any of the teams in the top 8. You know, Mavericks are 9th at the moment. They made the finals last year. So, you know, Timberwolves are 10th. These are good teams. Kings are 12th. So they're not even in playing. You know, this is trying times in the West. I'm nervous, but
one thing to say about those couple of teams you mentioned, sorry, Lyle, is that they're certainly not dealing with injuries like we are. In fact, a few of those teams that you mentioned have barely had any. So for them to, like the Mavs, perfect example, there's not been many injuries on that squad. And what did you say they are? 9th? That doesn't bode that well for them, even though they did reach the finals. So I don't know. Shake it up. Let's go. Bring it on the court and, you know, score 135 against these fuckers and see if they can keep up with us.
Yeah, I think that's what we have to do, right? We actually have to run. You know, that's what Willie Green's been saying. He goes, "Hey, run," and no one does. But you know, maybe we will with more players, but we'll see. But guys,
everyone's worried if they start running, they're going to do a hemi.
I mean,
everyone else
come
is not
on,
done a hemi.
It's the bloody medical staff that are the most worried. They won't know how to handle it. But it's oh shit, another one. That's 3 and a go, 81 in 16 years or something, wasn't it? Ads, was it? But guys, before we go, you know, thanks very much for taking the time. It's always good to chat. You know, the group chat is the sacred place where we go and chat Pels, and it has been an absolute pleasure. But I'll do a quick whip around. If you can do your Twitter handle or anything you want to shout out, and then we'll skedaddle. Aidan, where can we find you?
Just at Docs Cards on X and Instagram as well. I'm a bit slack on Instagram. I just recently moved house, so haven't been posting on that for a while. Just all me Pelicans collection and all that kind of stuff. But Twitter there, I tweet a little bit, not too much because I'll just a shit time for us in Australia, isn't it? To watch games a lot of the time. We're just watching on repeat, like later on in the day anyway. So, probably not the best follows, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Yeah, Nads, where can we find you?
Generally at home, and it could be worse. It could be worse, boys. We could be Philadelphia.
Well, yeah, God. Yeah, well. Oh, the Shadowlands. We should never go there, Simba. Awful. Yeah, they suck. And Brenton, where can we find you? Besides, every time you listen to this show and you've got the fantastic music.
Hey. God. Yeah, I did that little jingle. So if anybody else needs like stingers for I might as well plug myself for your podcast. Anybody needs some music, 30 seconds worth, I'll do that for you. Terrain 72, TRRAIN 72 on X.
It's all right. I mean, Brenton is a maestro with the music. I mean, gosh, I let the whole thing play every time. I know most people probably skip it, but that's just, you listen. I like to listen to myself, but because I have such good takes. But guys, thank you once again. This has been Flock. No doubt we'll do another one of these in the near future because it's always good fun. But this has been Flock, episode 14. I'm Lyle Swithenbank at Lyle Swithenbank on Twitter. Stay safe, and of course, bye for now.